Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chris and Andre Show.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot going on. You know what? My wife always says that I really hate social media.
You do.
Guess what?
You say that too.
Yeah, she's not wrong. So what's in the news this week is...
A whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, it's Elon Musk. He buys Twitter for $44 billion. And he's...
Andre's at a loss for words.
Yo, if he wants somebody just to read him tweets, give me $300 million. I'll do it every day of my life. I'll even get my kids to do it for you.
So there are two headlines. One, Twitter buyout. It puts Mastodon into the spotlight, which is great, right?
What is
I
Mastodon?
personally believe that
educate me.
Mastodon is it's an open source social media platform, right? Pretty much decentralized. They have multiple servers everywhere. It's pretty much what Donald Trump stole to build Truth Social.
Truth Social was built on the framework of Mastodon.
What is Truth Social?
Yeah.
Wait, is that propaganda thing?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
totally useless.
It's the social media platform that Donald Trump set out to build after he got kicked off of Twitter. And who was it?
Did that ever actually
Adam
go
Schiff, right?
Jeff
Did he ever
Nunes.
I'm gonna look it up.
Devin
Or whatever.
Nunes.
Devin Nunes.
Yeah.
If I can go to a website that just has racist people on it, I'm just like, hell yeah. I'm
I
getting
call
my
it
Good luck
daily
getting
news.
in.
Yeah, it's like a waiting list of 800,000 people. I call him Jeff Nunes. But anyway, so Mastodon is ideally, and I do believe that ideally social media should not be it should not be considered, it should not be a company, number one, right?
Sure.
I think the spirit of social media is not, it's also not the public square. So Elon Musk's argument that Twitter is the new public square is bullshit. The First Amendment argument is bullshit. Do I have one more bullshit to go?
If I download this, do I get put on a list for being racist?
Probably.
You might, the FBI might knock on your door.
Probably.
The fact that conservative Twitter accounts and right-wing nut jobs are getting an uptick, and our people are leaving Twitter since the deal broke. Those things are all irrelevant. It's bullshit. Social media, number one, is not real, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever told you it was real, they lied to you. It's like a big group chat message. That's all it is. It is not the last bastion of free speech. Free speech is not in danger.
Guys, sorry, this is blowing my mind. You have to get put on a wait list to make an account?
Yeah.
Is that just for them to is that for them to fact check you to make sure you fit in with this community?
No, it's because they can't support anything.
There's not enough servers?
Yeah, the whole thing is built so hastily and such a piece of crap that every single user account that wants to add, they have to make sure that they have enough space to actually be able to support that. It has nothing to do with who you are or what them doing any sort of background check on you. But then of course they promote it as this new free speech place, and then immediately start taking down anything that bashes them or Trump or anything that they don't like. So it's basically, it's conservative Twitter is kind of, but with a fraction of the user base.
Even their website isn't formatted properly. I wish you can see it.
No, it's garbage.
The buttons are broken.
It's like everything that Donald Trump does. It's half-assed and designed to fail while he rakes in a bunch of money somehow. That's...
Yeah, it even almost looks like he tried to write Trump, but then he remembered, oh shit, I got to put something else here.
Yeah.
And just put the TH at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the period.
He's not even on there. He's truthed twice, and that was months ago.
Is that the verb for it?
Yeah.
You truth?
You post your truths.
No, that doesn't fit. That doesn't sit well in the mouth.
No. Anyways, we're not here to talk about truth, although it does.
God,
my head just started hurting on that shit. Are you kidding me with that, yo? Right now, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yo,
What? The truth thing?
Yeah.
No, I'm
'cause,
glad that you're getting.
Well, I looked it up and it said like Truth Social has direct competition with Twitter. I'm like, what?
That's not even a thing.
That's like Burger King trying to argue with Hardee's. You both
That's
suck.
like me saying that I'm in direct competition with Joe Biden for the upcoming presidential election in 2024.
If there's any Joe in the world who would be in competition with him, it's me, sir.
Oh, that's fair. Anyways, the point that I think Andre was trying to make is that like social media has been built up, these social media platforms have been built up as though they are somehow, protected by free speech, that you should be able to say anything and everything that you want and have absolutely no consequences. Not even just that, like, you can post it and then they can delete it if they want to, or you can post it and people can disagree with you. No. You can't disagree with me. Like, that's not what this is about. I get to say whatever the hell I want, and then I get to own the libs afterwards, or own the stupid idiots on the right. Like, it's just a bunch of dumb people out there talking and yelling at other dumb people. Like, that's what I've discovered more than anything about these platforms. And I will say that since the news broke, the few times that I have been on Twitter, it has gotten significantly more aggressive in the way that everybody is behaving. You have the people on the left side who are now like, Elon's an idiot, what a moron, he's never accomplished anything, silver spoon, selling emeralds for his dad, apartheid, slavery from South Africa, blah, blah, blah. Then you have the right who are like, Elon bought Twitter just so he could free Donald Trump. Trump's coming back to Twitter. And this is going to be, like the rebirth of free speech. And that, the left is having a complete and utter meltdown over this. Meanwhile, those of us who could not care less about what Elon Musk wanted Twitter for, why he bought it, why he spent $44 billion on it, are just sitting here like, why are you idiots arguing over this? This is literally one of the dumbest arguments in the history of mankind.
So you know what happened many years ago? Somebody said, let's make this thing called GeoCities. Then somebody said, let's make this thing called Facebook. Or MySpace. And then let's make this thing called Facebook. Let's make this thing called Snapchat. The list goes on and on and on and on. You know what makes social media popular? Kids my daughter's age.
Yeah.
People our age, even if you're like in your late 20s, early 30s, you're not important to social media. Social media has moved way beyond you like months ago. You just haven't realized it. If you still have a Facebook page, your opinion on social media is irrelevant. If you're like sitting there trying to say, grow your Instagram following, guess what? Social media has already moved well beyond you. Marketers right now aren't looking for you. They're looking for people my daughter's age. They care not.
Phrasing.
I'm sorry?
It's a phrasing. It makes them sound extra predatory.
Phrasing?
Well, they are. Literally, that's what they're doing. They don't care about, like...
that's what Fortnite does.
But 18 to 24-year-olds, that is the demographic that they are constantly trying to market to. They're trying to figure out, how do we get their attention? How do we get to them now before they've matured enough to start, like, rebuffing our marketing attempts? That's part of it, right. I think.
I would say more so building, lineage purchases. Like Ovaltine did with me. Nobody drinks Ovaltine, but I can't give it up.
He's kind of specific. He's like, Ovaltine. Everything else is great, but Ovaltine...
That just makes me think of A Christmas Story. And he's like, be sure to drink your Ovaltine. What the shit?
So my point being is, like...
I go in the pantry right now and get 2 flavors for you, malt and classic.
People are losing their mind over this Twitter crap. Conservatives are having a field day. And I'll be honest, I'll be super honest. Social media is not real. It's not real. Let me tell you how unreal it is. It's not. This is a real thing that happened. I needed to get an API from a social media company. The only way to get the API was to create an account. And I was like, dreading it. And years ago, I had an account on this social media account on this place, right? So I had to go through all the hoops and loops of trying to reactivate my account.
Yeah.
You know what happened? I'm in this perpetual lockout.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to go pay for access just through a third-party API and just move on. But it's like they try to wrap you in on a business point. I don't know if we talked about this last week, but Zuckerberg is trying to get a 47% commission off anything you sell in the metaverse. Did we talk about that last week?
Yeah, I think
we hinted on it. Yeah. We made fun of Etsy.
Yeah. So they're trying to. There's these things that these companies are doing, and then you have the people say these companies shouldn't be that big. You know what, idiot? You shouldn't give them that much attention.
Yeah. Let's
start with that.
I mean, it comes back to everything, or I should say, everything eventually comes back to where are you focusing your efforts? We as individuals, right? Like, Are we focused on what Elon Musk is doing with Twitter? Are we worried about Twitter? Are we worried about what politicians are saying on news stations, right? Why? Why would we care what grandstanding assholes are saying to other grandstanding assholes?
Yeah. Or which fledgling politician sent a dick pic?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know which one. I'm kind of curious now. No, but ultimately, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what these people are doing that's wrong, and the fact that they're not being held accountable for it. I hate to say it, but that's not the point. The point is the next opportunity you get to vote them out, you vote them out. Stop voting for these people.
Stop telling me free speech is at risk. It's not, guys.
The government is the only person that can infringe on your free speech based on the First Amendment.
Yes.
That's it. That's all it is.
Go to civics class. Please go to civics class.
Stop telling me that. It's the separation of church and state, right? It's this common misconception of what something actually means because people are too lazy and too uneducated to take the time to actually figure this stuff out. And so instead, they just want to be angry about something. And I get,
Can you imagine?
There's lots to be angry about. It comes back to the conversation we had about social media, weeks ago, where it's there are so many other reasons for you to be upset, for you to be angry, for you to be frustrated with what's going on. The fact that Elon Musk bought Twitter is not one of them. Stop wasting your time on that. And I know it seems really counterproductive that we're having this conversation about it. But the point is, we're not what's he going to do? What's he going to do with Twitter? What's Twitter going to become? Can I keep my Twitter account? I'm probably. I don't know. Who cares? What if he does bring Trump back to Twitter? Who cares? Who cares? I'm with Andre, who is... I mean, I don't want to steal your thunder on this, but you have basically predicted in texts and whatnot that this is the beginning of the end for main platform social media. That, I mean, and yeah,
they're gonna privatize it now.
Well, it's not even privatizing
instead of being semi-open to the masses, it's oh, I want this, I'll take this and put it in my pocket.
You know what's going to happen?
My brand.
We're going to start to see the devaluation of social media companies. So already right now, the earnings call for Facebook, Zuckerberg was talking about losses in advertising dollars, blah, blah, blah. And that they expect throughout the rest of the year that they're not going to see the same growth, right? And they're going to see this steady decline. I believe that this is going to be the start of the downfall of these companies.
Twitter's stock price is already down 11% from Elon Musk's valuation of it when he made the purchase.
Right. So, man, I might be right on this one. I really think that this, and especially in Silicon Valley and tech companies, they try to make every startup a unicorn, right? Social media has had a pretty damn good run. I'd say at least 20 years, give or take, with MySpace to Facebook.
For an imaginary concept built around sending messages to people you don't like very much.
Yeah. No, it's just that they used it as a lot of people think Facebook is the internet. They really do. They get their news. They shop on Facebook. All these
AOL
things.
Mentality.
I'm sorry.
That's AOL mentality. AOL set that standard,
exactly.
and a lot of people haven't got over it.
They never understood what AOL was to begin with. That AOL wasn't the internet. It was an access point and a service to get connected to the internet that then provided additional services like instant messenger on top of that and email. But it's not internet.
I would love to have been in the boardroom when AOL realized that Internet Explorer and Netscape, when Netscape came out, and people were actually using Netscape and not using or going to sites or places on AOL anymore. I would have loved to have been in the room as they start to realize, oh, this is falling apart. That's going to be the same thing that happens with these social media networks. They're going to probably still be around, but they're not going to have the same type of market influence that they have today.
Yeah.
I mean, Yahoo and Ask Jeeves is still around, and they have no reason to be.
Exactly.
Well, but those are ancillary
Don't dare
things.
try to defend Yahoo.
No, I don't think he's
actually. I'm not. I'm just saying, like, when in terms
They
of
took
like
away my baby kicker at 69 or Yahoo.com. They took that away from me. I've never been able to get it back.
Well, first of all, if you have a Yahoo email account, there's something wrong with you. Like, you need Jesus. Like, you need.
You might be a redneck.
You might be a redneck.
You might be a redneck. You might be a redneck. So
I always felt bad for Ask Jeeves, though.
But I will say, I mean, and my point, it's to be completely and utterly honest. These things are so transitional, but social media for the last almost 20 years has had some type of, like, it's just morphed into another company. Another company has carried the torch.
It's just shifted from one to the other, right? Like you said, it was
like
GeoCities, Angel Fire, then it was MySpace, then it was Facebook, then it was Twitter, then it was Instagram, then it was Snapchat, then it was Vine. Remember when Vine was a thing, right?
Everyone loved it.
Then it was TikTok, and now it kind of still is. Now maybe it's Be Real, right? Because we're tired of all the, pressure to be creative.
I forgot all about that.
Maybe it's Mastodon, right? Like maybe Mastodon becomes the thing where people are like, I'm tired of being on this one. Like I want to be able to more pick and choose what it is that I do, and I don't want Elon Musk digging into my personal information because now he wants to verify everybody, right? That's the other rumor.
Yeah,
is Elon's going to verify everybody?
No, he said that came out of his mouth. He wants to verify every human.
But is he really going to do that ultimately?
Well, I mean, Elon Musk has a history of saying things like, I'm going to end world hunger.
Yeah, or I'm going to build an electric truck.
Oh my God. Well, maybe that was a little too hard.
Yeah, not really. Here's what I think. It's kind of like, I think social media is turned into WordPress, right?
Yeah.
And my disdain for working with WordPress sites goes very deep. But my admiration of the company and what they're able to do to bring and make it easier for people to create content for the internet, I admire them. I admire them for that.
That is maybe the best analogy that I've heard for social media in a long time. Like, that's all it really is a content creation platform for individuals that then somebody else gets to market and capitalize and advertise on. You are creating the content for them that they turn around and make money off of. And then they make money off of you, too, because you're using it to then access other people's content.
Yep.
Sorry, that was brilliant.
Oh, you're welcome. so
I never thought about it like that before. Like,
I think that's what's going to eventually happen. But I also think that with just like WordPress, although it powers like almost 40% of the internet, close to 50%, people are tired of that.
Something else will come along.
And it has, right? You have more static sites. You have less and less PHP-driven CMSs. Most people realize they don't need a CMS. So as the internet evolves, they have competitors like Webflow and Wix and God knows what else.
Yeah.
It's just, I think that's where social media is going to. It's no longer going to be. It's not going to have the influence over society that it has today. It's just not.
Which may be a good thing. I mean, like, ultimately, it kind of depends on what takes its place, right? Because I think ultimately it is going, when it goes, it has essentially created a vacuum, and that something else will...
You know what's going to take its place?
What?
I'll tell you. Newsletters. There is not a website that I visit that doesn't have a newsletter and they don't ask me to subscribe.
No,
People
true.
are trying to pull back their audience to something that they can actually directly contact with, as opposed to the happenstance of having a tweet, the happenstance of having followers. It's a lot easier for me to drive traffic to my website than to get 1,000 followers on X social media.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
I mean, ultimately,
I do think,
what's really the difference, right, between, say, going to Facebook and re-scroll, or Twitter, and scrolling through your feed there and seeing post, ad, post, ad, post, or getting somebody's newsletter that is post, ad, post, ad, post. Like, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
But I'm just saying, I hear exactly what you're saying, that I have to opt in to go, or make a conscious decision to go on those sites. I have to have a reason to go there if I'm going to then interact with these brands. Not only do I have to go there, but then I also have to, like, follow them, or they have to pay in order to get in front of me. And if you can get into somebody's inbox, if you can get them to opt in to receiving direct communication from you, then you're doing
win.
that much better. It's like the equivalent of direct mail, right? Like, the crap that I get in the mail all the time, where I'm like, straight into the recycling. Oh my God, I wish I could stop getting this stuff. Versus, like, I don't know, the magazines that I actually subscribe to.
Right.
If I still subscribe to magazines.
I get a magazine and I want it, but it's... I do get a magazine.
Game Informer was like, we're not doing physical copies anymore.
That's expensive.
Really?
I mean,
yeah,
it's not cheap to produce
Primo
magazines.
Guides, I think Primo Guides, the last one they did was for like Fallout 4, I think. Mm-hmm. And they put a big announcement saying how, it's not profitable for us to print off guidebooks anymore. They're
Make
only
them PDFs.
They're only going straight digital.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Primo Guides was like the biggest strategy guide company in the world. And so if they gave up on it, no one else is taking up the mantle. That's an entire section of e-commerce is just gone.
Well, the thing that there's another thought that I had on this, and people are talking about Elon Musk and Twitter. So who owns the Washington Post?
I don't remember.
Jeff Bezos.
Oh, that's right.
Who owns the New York Times?
Jeff Bezos?
No, some billionaire company. I can't remember the name of the family.
I'm assuming something
who owns,
in China.
Who owns the Wall Street Journal?
Rupert Murdoch.
Yep. So we've been going through this whole billionaires acquiring media companies for years now. Yeah. I actually I used to subscribe to the Wall Street Journal, and then I stopped, not because of Rupert Murdoch. I stopped because the subscription no longer made sense. It went up by 62% 1 year, and I was like, "What are we doing? Yeah. What?" And that's when I canceled my subscription. Because my subscription originally had the digital and the print subscription. Then it was it went up 62%, and I kind of had to pick one or the other, and I was like, no, I'm good. So,
no, I think that's a really good point. Like, people are making this acquisition of Twitter, the purchase of Twitter by Elon Musk, as though, oh, this is the most terrifying thing that's ever happened to free speech, and, the public square is now for sale to the highest bidder. And it's like, no, they've been buying and owning this stuff for hundreds of years. This isn't new.
Yeah. Hell, NASDAQ.
Yeah.
NYSE, all those freaking the stock markets, they are not public squares of communication. They're all privately held companies.
Yeah, this isn't monopoly. These aren't the public utilities that you can go out and buy. I own the electric company. No.
And the federal entities that we have in place to monitor these public. They're not. I guess clearinghouses.
Yeah.
Do a shitty job of
They're
it.
terrible.
I mean, so our media is owned by, like, most of our network channels or stations across the country are owned by a handful of companies.
Yeah. That's why you see
Radio
those
stations.
clips of like the local news stations all reporting the exact same thing verbatim.
Yeah.
Like,
Radio stations are owned by the same companies. I mean, these things are not like, whether it's broadcast television, whether it's the radio, whether it's, whatever. I mean, how many radio stations does iHeartRadio own? How many radio stations and television stations does Clear Channel Communications own?
yeah.
I mean, so we're sitting here worried about Twitter. I don't give a shit about Twitter. Like, I have no hard on for Twitter like that.
Oh man, you're gonna hate the Twitter account I made for you then.
Andre has
Andre
a
for
hard on
Clown
for Twitter.
69.
No, but I think
but that's
and the ultimate thing, right, is that yes, like Elon Musk can buy Twitter and he could shut it down tomorrow if he wanted to, right? Like not tomorrow because the sale hasn't gone through, but the day after the sale goes through, he could say, "I'm shutting down Twitter and Twitter will be no more," if he wanted to. And there will be people who freak out, who just like completely lose their mind. You know what, Elon Musk?
There'd just be another company come up like that.
Well,
taking their
yeah,
place.
but that's not the point. My point is, maybe that's a point, but it's not my point. My point is, you know what those guys don't own? Like, they don't own us. They don't own the Chris and Andre show. They don't own
Right.
our website. Like, yes, we use Amazon Web Services to host it, but if we wanted to, we could go somewhere else. Like, this is not, the internet is not like,
if the internet's not Twitter, the internet is not Facebook,
yeah.
right? And if you want help on how to set up your own or understand the internet, please call us.
555 internet.
I mean, so I just kind of, I marvel at it. I think I think we're in this dangerous place of ignorance as a country, as a society.
Yeah.
Where we just kind of, I don't know the word I'm looking for.
Dude, there's whole freaking Facebook pages of just people who chase fire trucks. Like, literally, it's just like, what's on fire today? A house. What else? Trees, cars. Like, why do we have so much of our mental focus on things like that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And if we can answer that question, we can answer why people are giving a damn about this dude buying this Twitter. Like,
Yeah.
And Joe's like, you haven't probably used Twitter in like what, at least 3 years, right?
who, me?
Yeah.
That's where I get all my clown content. I'm not even lying. That's
From
where
Twitter?
you go. Yeah. Look it up.
Nope.
No. So you guys are like Twitter's dying and everything. I'm like, the normal everyday American goes to Twitter and there's nothing for them there. But if you're in the cosplay community, the anime community, any type of fandom kink community, it's there and droves.
But it's not the only place that you can get that stuff.
Right.
No, but it's very quick and easy.
It can be,
It's
yes.
it's like the heroin shot you need before you go to work.
Oh my god! If you're doing heroin before you go to work,
Don't act like you guys never worked with anyone who did heroin.
What exactly attracts you to the leisure industry? I don't want pleasure. Like my pleasure and other people's pleasure.
Oh, I thought you were saying, don't act like you never done heroin.
No.
I worked with a crack.
No,
I used
I
to
would
work
never
with a
support that.
crackhead.
That's
I worked with a guy
horrible.
that did crack. That was actually pretty interesting.
pretty sure I worked
Chris,
with a
don't
guy
let
that did a lot of
don't let him
cocaine
talk about
before
you
he
like that.
came into work.
I worked, yeah, me too. Yeah, so I worked with some drug addicts, but my point
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Drug enthusiast.
yeah, so I get I guess people are missing the forest for the trees here. And I always get confused by that. Hold on one second. Hello, honey. Hey.
I'm not talking shit about Twitter. I promise.
No, I love social media.
Do what?
What is this? Why do you have a handle? Andre for Clown 69. How do I know any about this? Why you never told me about this?
Give me a minute and I'll take a look at it in depth. I'm actually still doing my podcast.
Yeah. Come on, babe.
Hi, Tetchy.
You're about to get your ass whooped, aren't you, boy?
Andre
about to get his ass whooped, aren't he?
That's my daughter. She was asking me. She's writing.
I mean, your daughter can still kick your ass, probably. I've seen your kids; they're built well.
Yeah, but I'm 6'1". I just like hold her back, like stop, go back there. I don't know. I the forest for the trees. I think that it's. I don't think it's that big of a deal, and I guess people, like to Chris's point, they need something to be upset about, right? Yeah. Maybe it's like they closed the Cary Town Center, and there's a lot of people. There were people that actually stood outside watching them tear a building down. Yeah. And they were like reminiscing of when, what they used to do there and blah blah blah. And I'm like, it's just a building. Yeah. But maybe that's Twitter to some people.
I mean, it could be. There could be the element of nostalgia about it, right? I mean, like people were upset when MySpace kind of like disappeared, and I mean, I certainly.
But Justin Timberlake brought it back.
Well, he brought a lot.
Did you say MySpace?
I thought I said MySpace.
You said MySpace.
Well, people also got upset when MySpace disappeared. It was this weird phase I went through in high school.
I thought normally to get upset when your face does appear.
Oh. Shots fired.
Shots fired.
No,
Oh no, the flannel brigade. We've turned on each other.
Yeah, this is not going well. Never again will we all dress the same.
I can't believe you guys didn't know that side of Twitter existed, though. That amazes me.
No,
I mean, I'm just not.
You guys need me. You really do.
Well, that's why we invite you back every week.
So, for example, my Google News feed, right? There are some things like I get a lot of comic news, right? Because I click on comic news. Every now and then, I get like cosplay stuff. There's some pretty talented people. Like I saw this guy with his Iron Man suit. It was bananas. Like he even has a
where it retracts.
No, this one guy, super realistic with like scratches, and it looked like so dope. I was like, yeah, that's bananas. So I get that stuff's out there. I guess for some people, because it's familiar, it's quick to get to, that's what they go to. That's just not like how I consume information, though, right? Or consume entertainment. So if there's a majority of people that consume entertainment or news or information like that, like a Twitter or like TikTok, like I've been thinking for a couple months now, how much longer can Twitter be a thing if TikTok keeps growing like users? And I think TikTok is almost pretty close to surpassing Facebook.
Yeah.
So does that mean that people are looking more for video as opposed to text? And, what does that mean for places like Twitter?
That you actually bring up a very good concept because, Vine was so popular because it's quick and easy access to it, and then people were like, well, we wanted more. Vine goes the way of the dodo for whatever reason, and then TikTok comes along and improves upon that design. Now TikTok's doing this odd thing where they're doing full 10-minute videos.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're kind of like YouTube Lite at this point.
Yeah. Well, and then YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook are all doing shorts, like short videos to try and capitalize off.
I hate Facebook Reels.
A few months back, I was talking about that. I watched some documentary on the founding of TikTok, and that was in their roadmap. Because they're not stupid, right? The short clips are entertainment. But people, like, the reason why YouTube has such a foothold on long-form content is because there are probably more people like that get their entertainment fix from YouTube than TikTok. People can watch entire shows. They can transition from, like, a 20-minute video to a full-length movie if they want to on YouTube. So I think in between TikTok and YouTube is probably the perfect media platform. As far as social media goes, as far as the social aspect of it, who's going to win out there? Is it going to be the short form? I think it may be. I think that you're going to end up having a few camps. You're going to have long-form entertainment. You're going to have short form entertainment. And they're going to have like people that like to read, and where you can distribute it across multiple channels.
I still think that ultimately, even though Twitter has not, like Twitter provides you the opportunity to do video and text, I still think that like blogs and individual like websites where people are writing and taking the time to thoughtfully articulate that would be the goal, but just, articulating what it is that they have to say is going to continue to be one of the most popular things. We put all this effort into doing this podcast every week, and then we publish an article on the website about DNS servers, and it's our most popular piece of content that we've ever created, right?
Yeah.
I write an article, a listicle of 5 movies I can't wait to see this summer and 3 that I'm willing to skip, and it becomes our second most popular article over the last 30 days. This is just what and part of it is, again, because of the way that the internet actually works, because people go to search engines and search for things, or because it pops up wherever people start sharing stuff. But I still think search is still at the heart of so much of it, and so until those search engines are able to very easily parse through video and audio content in order to make it appear alongside this stuff, articles in text format is still going to be the thing that wins out more often than not. So
So your presence on the internet is not it's not diminished by social media, but it should be enhanced by social media, and not that shouldn't be your only go-to.
Yeah.
So I would just say that I do think there's a place for YouTubes. That's true. There's
a place for all of it. There is a place. It's just stop placing the importance that you are on all of these things. That's what I think it really boils down to.
That's weird.
Yeah, everybody, just think of yourself as pieces of shit, and then we all get along again.
No, not you, as individuals, but don't think that what happens
over it. Yeah.
But it's like what Andre was saying. It's not real. Facebook isn't real. What's happening on Facebook isn't real. You don't have to engage with that stuff. You can tune out. You don't have to be on Twitter. You don't have to be on Instagram. If you want to be, fine. But don't take it so seriously that you build your whole life around it.
Yeah.
And that becomes the only thing that really matters to you is how many likes I have on Instagram, how many people are following me on Facebook, whether or not my tweet got a bunch of reactions this week. We tweet this stuff out because we're trying to spread the word and our of our podcast and help people be better. That's ultimately still the goal of this podcast every week. We sit down and we have these long drawn out rant conversations in large part because we're trying to ask questions and understand things that maybe we don't understand, and we're hoping that the people on the other side of this screen can give us some sort of insight that we don't already have access to or that we're not thinking of. You had your thing earlier with WordPress and Facebook and content creation. I'm just boom, blew my mind. In that moment. And that's because we sat here and had this podcast. It's the same thing that would have happened if you and I had sat down and had a beer across the table from each other. It's just that you live in Raleigh and you won't move to the beach yet.
The fact that we have a term, IRL, tells us we have a problem.
Well, the fact that we use shorthand in real life, the IRL, to abbreviate words that are the same number of fucking syllables.
Yeah, LOL, ATM,
God.
FTW.
Please don't get me started on that.
Yeah, okay. Well, we won't get started on that. I think I don't know. You guys have anything else to add to the big rant today?
No, I think I'm all ranted out.
Joe, you want to rant anymore, or are you good?
Rant about what? Moon Knight?
No, about social
Deadpool
media.
possibly being in the MCU soon?
Well, we could talk about that.
How Deadpool is social media? And
I like
he's
that.
Incarnate. He's dead. He's social media incarnate.
That's the name of the podcast.
For all good and bad
now.
Reasons.
The big rant.
Oh,
Deadpool
God.
is social media. No, not really.
Jesus.
But no, I'm pretty good.
Well,
I think this will go really well. I feel sorry for everyone who has to listen to us bitch about Twitter still. But honestly, Twitter shouldn't be that important. As soon as I saw this stuff, as soon as I saw this shit on the news, I'm like, why are we talking about it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to change anything. It's not like this douchebag's going to get
about
Twitter
it?
and then give everybody free ice cream.
Journalists are pissed.
Yeah,
Journalists use Twitter probably more than any other demographic.
that's a good point.
Oh my! But in retrospect to the last 10 years, there's been more inflammatory news that they can just share and crunch on than ever before. So they should be ooh, some more controversy.
Well, that's what it is.
That's why they're fucking doing it.
This is more controversy. It just happens to be controversy that they care about.
I want them. I want them to get destroyed. I want the internet to be shut off for 2 days and just watch everything explode.
No, don't wish that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that on us.
Where will you get your clown porn then, Joe?
Yeah.
Oh, there's always avenues, sir.
I don't want to know.
Clown porn avenue.
You don't.
We have.
There's parts of Wilmington I can
We've
show you.
reached the end of the internet, ladies and gentlemen.
The internet is done. It's tapped out.
The tentacle trolls haven't even come out yet. What are you talking about?
Whoa. Okay. And we are super glad you joined us. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you very much. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We really would appreciate it. We have a lot of other content on our website, chrisandandreshow.com. You can always send us comments if you have questions or a topic you think that would be great to talk about, or if you even want to be a guest, shoot us an email at comment@chrisandandreshow.com. I'm Andre at chrisandandreshow.com.
I'm Chris at chrisandandreshow.com.
Oh, I almost forgot. If you're listening to this on audio on just about every podcast platform, don't forget to subscribe.
That's right.
And we always have friend of the
He's
Friend of
fucked
the
up my
Joe
brain.
Show.
He snuck in too much clown. I can't handle it.
The
friend of the
Andre.
show, Fireside Joe.
Yep,
And where
yep.
can people find you at?
You can find me on Twitter, and that's my safe space.
Son of a bitch.
until Elon Musk shuts you down.
Right. No, but for real though, I am not making a Twitter for this handle. You do not want to see what I do on Twitter. You can go to TikTok, and that's where all my best content is. If you're brave enough to actually DM me on TikTok, I play with whoever the heck wants to play video games with. I do not touch PlayStation. And you can flame war me all you want. right. Play with whoever wants to play with me.
I was like,
but no, I'm a gamer, and sometimes I sneak into here to harass these folks. So I'm happy to be here, obviously.
well, we're glad you're here, man. You actually made me laugh today, so I appreciate that.
I actually made you laugh, like
For
implying
once,
that I
the first
didn't.
time ever.
No,
Every time, all the other time was just like a sarcastic scoff at.
He was just faking it.
Oh man,
I'm having flashbacks.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
But thanks for hanging out with us. As always, I'm Andre,
And I'm Chris.
and we'll talk to you next time.